This week, join me in the American Southwest as I explore one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. Why did the ancient inhabitants of this land, the Anasazi, build these incredible cliff dwellings, only to abandon them decades later?
And seemingly disappear from history.
Unbelievable.
To find out, I'm gonna take to the air, dangle from dangerous cliffs, and explore some of America's most spectacular archaeological sites. We're digging for the truth, and we're going to extremes to do it.
I'll meet you over there.
Mesa Verde, southwestern Colorado. Land of rugged canyons, soaring mesas, and some of America's most stunning prehistoric ruins. Yet ever since these abandoned villages were first discovered in the late 19th century, they've puzzled visitors and archaeologists.
Pretty incredible, huh? Can you imagine building something like this on the face of a cliff and actually living up here? Hi, I'm Josh Bernstein, and the American Southwest is my home. But I've never gotten to the bottom of its most fascinating mystery until now.
Why did the Anasazi decide to move to the cliffsides? And why would they then abandon this entire region only decades later, never to return? These questions are at the heart of a debate now raging between archaeologists and Native Americans. At stake is the traditional image of the peaceful Anasazi. Everyone agrees that's how they began. The people who became known as the Anasazi started to farm this area of the American Southwest as early as 1 AD. For most of their history, they lived in small, scattered villages on the mesas and in the valleys. But in the middle of the 13th century, something happened. The Anasazi began to cluster together. They built high walls around their settlements, or took the precarious step of moving whole villages onto the cliff sides. Then, fewer than 50 years later, they abandoned these homes too, leaving behind most of their possessions, as if they planned to return. Instead, they seemed to disappear from history. Were the Anasazi invaded by another tribe? Or did they succumb to drought? Why did this complex and far-reaching civilization suddenly collapse? What happened? My exploration begins with Larissa Kumawana, a ranger at Mesa Verde National Park. In addition to her years teaching people about these ruins, Larissa is also a member of the Hopi tribe. The Hopi claim the Anasazi are their ancestors, and Larissa's insights may point me in the right direction.
So there's no running rivers, no streams in the bottom of any of these canyons. So their main water source would have been seep springs.
So there's no water down there?
No water down
there. The only water would be
in the back of these alcoves here. It is why it's thought that's the reason why the transition happened, you know, from the mesa top sites down into these cliff dwellings. You got the water source right there. Why not build closer to them?
Larissa's answer was practical, but I felt it avoided an important question. The Anasazi could have accessed these seep springs without living on the faces of these cliffs. Why subject an entire community to such exposure and risk? Many archaeologists now think that the ancient Anasazi had a darker side, marked by massacres and even cannibalism. Could violence explain the move to the cliffs? The cliff dwellings of Mesa Verde are certainly impressive, but there are hundreds of other sites throughout this region. Perhaps seeing some other dwellings would give me greater insights into why the Anasazi made such a drastic move. To do this, I need a significant change of perspective. This is a twin-seat, twin-prop, home-built experimental plane. While it might not comply with FAA regulations, its open cockpit makes it perfect for spotting cliff dwellings.
These guys are now trying to work out the logistics of where the camera goes and where they fly. They don't really seem to care if we live or not.
My pilot, Skip Lange. He flew P-51 Mustangs during World War II.
Skip, I don't have a parachute.
Neither do I, so we're even on that score, Josh.
Okay.
With those encouraging words, we're off. Flying in a plane that feels like it's made of rubber bands and balsa wood. This part of the Southwest is known as the Four Corners, the place where Arizona, Colorado, Utah, and New Mexico come together. It was the heart of the Anasazi homeland for more than 1,000 years.